Look at the calendar. It has been nearly a decade. For literal years, every single Hajime no Ippo fan has been trapped in a collective retirement purgatory, begging, crying, and losing their minds waiting for the moment this man finally puts the gloves back on. But let's drop the emotional crying and look at the cold, hard facts. While half the fan base was busy complaining about the pacing, Big G, George Morikawa, has been quietly engineering a biological weapon. In real combat sports, taking a couple of years off because your brain is fried is a death sentence. You usually don't come back sharper. You come back as a slow, tragic paycheck for some young prospect to farm. But Morikawa did not bench Ippo to write a depressing PSA about brain damage. He accidentally or brilliantly engineered the most hyper-optimal athletic reset in the history of fiction. We almost waited 10 years for this comeback. But sports science says you aren't getting a standard feel-good return, you're getting an absolute massacre. Let's look at the actual medicine here, because the narrative tricked you. Before he quit, Ippo was broken. He was losing his footing, dropping simple exchanges, and failing basic spatial awareness tests. The story told us he was done. Let me talk some big intelligent words here. Sports science calls it chronic neurological fatigue and severe vestibular disruption. His brain was essentially drowning in its own fluid from taking too many unnecessary traits. In the real world though, a fighter gets cumulative concussions, takes a couple of months off, and then jumps right back into a hard sparring camp because they have to pay their bills. Their brain never actually heals. But the thing with Ippo is, he gave his central nervous system a multi-year zero-trauma sanctuary. Almost no head contact except for those spars, and no micro-concussions except for this shit Volk did to him. By stepping almost entirely out of the line of fire, his brain did what no active world champion can afford to do. It fully reset. The micro-swelling evaporated, and the neural pathways responsible for his freakish reaction times refired. He didn't lose his chin. He just let it regenerate while everyone else in his division was busy getting brain damage. Usually when you let your brain rest, your body goes to absolute shit. You get fat and you get lazy. But not here. Morikawa put his man on the Goku protocol. Ippo has spent years, I think it's now 2 years in universe, wearing heavy iron weights around his wrists and ankles during normal everyday life. In real-world kinesiology, applying constant progressive overload to low-intensity functional movements does something terrifying to the human body. It completely rewires your fast-twitch muscle fibers. Think about the physics. He's not lifting weights for an hour at the gym and going home. This dude is cooking, walking, digging, and running with an entirely different gravitational constant attached to his limbs. His body has adapted to moving a massive frame. The second he drops those weights for the actual combat fights, it's going to look like an optical illusion. His kinetic chain is now biologically tuned to launch a body that weighs a couple of pounds more than he actually does. He's a featherweight with the torque and destructive mass of a welterweight. Let's be completely real. Ippo's biggest flaw was never his physical output, we know this. It was his room temperature fight IQ. He was an executioner who relied entirely on Kamogawa screaming instructions from the corner like an angry dad. He had zero ring generalship, he just walked forward and ate leather until the other guy fell down. But look at this retirement arc, man. He became a second. When you switch from surviving a fight to teaching it, your brain is fundamentally rewiring itself. You stop tracking the fist flying at your nose and you start tracking the balance of the hips, the subtle rotation of the lead foot, and the micro holds in a defensive guard. We saw that terrifying payoff during his spar with Volk. Ippo didn't rush in like a mindless pitbull. He parried, he adapted, and he threw a technically flawless diagonal Dempsey roll without his conscious brain even processing it. He spent his retirement stealing the tactical intellect of a world-class trainer while keeping the prime physical peak of an elite killer. He is no longer a brawler with a high pain tolerance. Now this man is a tactician who happens to hit like a sledgehammer. Morikawa did not ruin Ippo's career by putting him on the sidelines for a decade. I know it seems like it, but he didn't. He saved it from his own coach's outdated training. By blending total neurological recovery with constant physical overload and a massive jump in tactical fight IQ, this manga has spent the last few years quietly building the ultimate monster. Some of us waited a decade for this. But when that bell finally rings and Ippo steps back over that line into the world of real monsters, he isn't going to try and survive. This beast is going to execute everyone in his way. Let me know in the comments. Now that we're in 2026, does the comeback happen this year, or is Morikawa going to blue ball us for another decade? Hit subscribe, drop a like, hype the video, and I'll see you in the next one.